Saram everyone and welcome once again to Good Morning with Gayatri Mantra. If you begin your day chanting the Gayatri Mantra, what it can do to you is something unimaginable. And Brother Rangnath Raju is here to share with us a spellbinding episode of how someone had experienced the benefits of chanting Gayatri Mantra in a manner that has left everyone in that locality, it has become an eternal story, and it is a grand illustration of what Gayatri Mantra can do if you are steadfast in our sadhana. Brother, please share that story.
Saram brother, this is the story of my great grandfather. He was the Tahsildar who had been transferred to a place called Garrepalli, where he in fact went on to stay because of this particular incident. Now, when he had, in those days of the British rule, the officers had a lot of respect. They used to command a lot of respect. So, when the officer would walk into the office, everybody is expected to stand up, and especially if he is a peon or someone, he is expected to touch the feet. Now, this person, my great grandfather Chandramaraji, he's been brought there. He goes into the office, and almost everybody is standing up. But to his shock and amazement, he goes into his cabin and he finds the office assistant. He's sitting cross-legged on his.
The office assistant is sitting cross-legged
on his table.
on his table.
It was a shock. It was a rude shock for him. So
Like his feet is on his
the
table.
on the Tahsildar's table. So he went and he gave a piece of his
What a
mind.
welcome.
He and to his shock, there was actually it was taken to be granted. Nobody was kind of daring to tell anything to that particular person. Everybody appeared to be very scared. And even when he started admonishing this office assistant, some other people, they were kind of indicating from behind, saying that don't tell anything, just let it go on, let it go. He did not know what was happening. So he gave a piece of his mind. He literally gave a warning, saying the next time if this repeats, he will throw him out of the office. And that person happens to be a person. He got up, he gave life-threatening remarks, saying that, let me see, how will you do you think without my permission, do you think without my powers being used, you think you can stay in this place for long? Since you are, and he has insulted him a lot. He says, since you have insulted me in front of everyone, I'll make sure that within 24 hours you will be dead.
Within 24 hours, you'll be dead.
You will be dead.
Oh.
So he thought, he not care a damn. He said, get out, do whatever you want. So, but because the office government structures, he could not literally dismiss him that moment. So he was sent out. Now, in that same village, so the Tahsil, his bungalow used to be little somewhere, his house, I will not say it's a bungalow, but good, apparently better structure than other village houses, somewhere outside. And you have to walk through the village, and there's a old temple, and they walk through the village and cross the temple, and somewhere other side of that temple happens to be this Tahsildar's place of official residence. So he had moved into the residence that night, and in this temple, which is lying in between the village and the Tahsildar, there is to live a sadhu. They call him Gangana Sadhu. He has many names, but popular one is Gangana Sadhu.
Holy man.
Holy. And this sadhu would go around the entire village, and the night he would sit and meditate, or he would be taking his supper, whatever, but he would stay generally awake very late in the night. So that night, the sadhu, he was having his food, and imagine those days, it's somewhere probably much around 30, between 20s to 30, that period. So no electricity, no lighting, and it was all pitch dark. And the village is it's around 9:30, 10. The entire village was almost asleep, and the Tahsildar's bungalow is almost, the Tahsildar settled down for the day, and this person is walking. This sadhu, he had just come from the village. He walked and settled down, and he is preparing to have his supper. Then he heard a huge, as if a huge person, a huge, very well built person walking through. I mean, if you walk through the footsteps, right?
Yes.
They would carry a lot of
Heavy footsteps.
Heavy footsteps. They would carry a lot of weight, and they make that rustle sound. So it's as if someone is walking very fast, rushing. So the sadhu felt very strange because those are the days when such rush was never was not a necessity. So he turned, and the minute he set his eyes on that particular person, he knew something was not right. Because that person and that lady, she was a lady, and extremely ferocious, dark, and it said something like unholy presence. That's what he felt. So he hid himself. Then he started following the lady, and the lady straight goes into the Tahsildar's bungalow. And as this lady enters, the gates, they just open up, they bang open, and she goes in, and just before the entrance, she's just about to open the door, and just before the entrance, the lady just shook back. I mean, she just came back. This sadhu was standing. Sadhu was standing somewhere behind. He could not see what was happening, so he turned around, and I mean, he went to other spot, and from there he was seeing what the interaction that was happening there. Just in front of the door, there is a small, very cute little girl, and radiant, beautiful, and he did not know what was happening. So whenever this lady, any of the entrance or any of the windows or any of this ventilator that this lady tries to enter, that girl is just appearing there, and he knew that this is not a normal interaction. There's something divine that's happening. So he kept looking at it, kept looking this entire thing. So
this dark lady was trying to enter
the house.
Everywhere it was stopped.
It was stopped.
By this beautiful little girl.
She would just appear. She wouldn't even touch the lady. She just appears, and just that presence is kind of frightening that lady. She is little as if you get a shock, and
she becomes powerless. Sort of.
Yeah, she just you get thrown away. That was the reaction. And to his amazement, he started noticing that this lady was actually growing in size, and it's one story building. So she was almost at first story, and she was trying to enter, and that continues. The girl continued to appear in the first story also. He knew that this girl must be someone very powerful, and he just folded his hands, and it went on for nearly 15 minutes, and this lady kept trying, and all the entrances, all the openings, nothing could ensure. I mean, she could not enter.
Yes.
This girl kept appearing in front of her, and after 15-16 minutes, this lady gave up. It literally looked like she gave up and walked back. She turned her back, and she just rushed
in frustration.
And he knew with the air that she is carrying. I mean, he was in a place where very close by this lady went away, because of his meditation and because of his earlier history. He knew that this is some demonic presence that was actually set in. In Telugu we call it Chetabadi. That was done by this particular office assistant, and he was known for it.
Oh, this office assistant was known. That's why everyone
was very scared
to confront him.
And earlier there are instances of where his higher ups had confronted him, and they ended up either dead or extremely injured, or his family people would go mad, would turn mad for unknown reasons. So everybody very scared. So the minute this lady rushed back, because of that air of that presence, he knew that this was sent by that particular person, and but he was lost in that beauty of the radiance of the girl. Just kept looking at the girl, and the day he follows to the point from where he had seen her, and he goes into the temple. He just kept meditating on that little girl. Now this lady, whatever, goes back. Next day morning, the sadhu goes to the Tahsildar, and Tahsildar has just finished his morning prayers. He goes, and he is about to, he just does the namaskar, and seeing this holy man coming into his house, he gets up and is about to touch his feet. He holds him and says, "So what has happened last night?" And he starts explaining, "This is what happened. That there is a lady who is entering. There is a girl who was protecting."
So a dark force was trying to enter, and a girl was protecting all the time.
And Tahsildar was, he was shocked. He said, "How did the girl look like?" And he explained, and then and that is when the sadhu touches him, and then he knew that this Tahsildar had little spiritual orientation, or had some spiritual practice, sadhana, right word would be. So he said, "What do you do in the morning?" Then this Tahsildar said, "Sir, every day I do 1008 Gayatri."
1008 times.
1008 times. And whole day I kind of spend my time in chanting Gayatri, but make sure that morning I do this Gayatri. That is when this sadhu realized, said, "Sir," then he tells him that you are so blessed. That girl was none other than Gayatri herself. But this man, Tahsildar, had his own doubts. He's thinking maybe he's trying to impress him or whatever. And he also made a passing reference. He had not told him very clear, but passing reference that the presence, that the demonic presence was sent by his office assistant. He did not believe. He goes to his office. The Tahsildar goes to the office, and the sadhu also follows him. I mean, not literally with him, but
Yes.
after some time.
Yes.
And there's a lot of commotion in the office, and everybody says something happened, and Tahsildar goes and asks, what happened? What is? Why is it everybody? He says, sir, the office assistant who had threatened you last yesterday, he is actually found dead.
He's found dead.
Someone killed him.
Wow.
And then he realizes that what the sadhu had said. He goes and meets the sadhu, and sadhu, he meditates, and then he tells him that he had kind of pulled upon like
See, sort of basically he had invoked that evil power because he was a black magician.
Black magician, and some powers would actually lay claim to life. Unless and it is done, they will not return.
And probably that power had to satiate itself, herself, whatever.
Yes, and it's either the Tahsildar or the one who has invoked her.
wow.
So because
So it
Gayatri
just boomeranged on
him, that person lay dead. And even to this day, when you visit that place, this entire the sadhu had also become very famous because of that. The place where the sadhu was saying the temple is renovated, and Tahsildar's place carries a small place of worship of that Gayatri Mata, but they don't call her Gayatri. They call her the village deity, Garipallamma. But just below that, you will also find Gayatri mantra, Om Bhurvasa Tatsaviturvaranyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai. And that story actually kind of continues in every household there.
Wow.
That is the power of Gayatri that has happened in our own family.
Wow. So this is in Karimnagar district.
It's in Karimnagar district. It's in
Wow. Amazing. It's fantastic. I mean, you don't know. I mean, even the Tahsildar, if the sadhu had not told him, the sadhu had the power to see the deity.
Yes.
I think that's why at least we know the story.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would never know. I mean, invisibly, if you are chanting the Gayatri mantra, you don't know how it is helping you.
how it helps.
Wow. Brother, quickly, if you can recall your days with Bhagwan and Prashanti.
And Gayatri mantra, whatever said and done, I was just a kid when I joined 11th and 12th, and then UG, PG.
Yes.
Gayatri mantra had a very deep meaning, and it would not make sense for me what is materialization, radiation, vibration. It never made sense. So one day I just cried, saying that Swami had done Upanayana for us in 12th. Thread ceremony. So that day he told the Gayatri mantra you should chant. But that guilt was always there. What would I chant? What would I chant something which I don't understand at all? So one day he comes in my dream and he clarifies saying that Gayatri is very simple. Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam. For me, the clarification given was Darshan, Bhur Bhuvasvaha, Darshan, Sparshan, Sambhashan, or something equivalent to that.
Oh
Lord.
Okay.
Oh
Darshan,
Lord,
Sparshan, Sambhashan.
Or something, Tatsavitur Varenyam, or something equivalent to that. Oh Lord, grant me Darshan, Sparshan, Sambhashan, or something equivalent to that, and the knowledge of your presence.
Wow. That is the meaning of
That's the meaning for
that
me.
got revealed to you.
Revealed to me.
Wow.
So I wanted to check it. I wanted to test it. And then when I sit in, I would intentionally, one day, I ended up sitting first line. It struck me. Then next day morning, in fact, I read this with the intention that Swami give me darshan, sparshan, sambhashan, something equivalent to that. And with your presence, the knowledge of your presence, let it be known to me. Diyo yona prachodayat. And to my amazement, Swami comes there, looks at me and smiles, gives a big broad smile.
So you are doing the Gayatri mantra.
I was doing the Gayatri mantra. It's like literally Swami is, the result was given to me.
Yes.
But I was still not sure, that monkey mind. So there were days when I would sit in fourth line or intentionally seventh
And then
line. Experiment. And I would chant. And you wouldn't believe he would be taking letters from my classmates or from seniors and juniors. The minute I finish this mantra, he just turns at me, gives that smile and walks away.
That's the connect.
That's the connect.
Wow.
That is a Gayatri for me.
Fantastic. I mean, I think all of us who were in Swami's presence and whoever has done that experiment with Gayatri Mantra probably can relate to it. Brother, after you left Bhagwan's portals, the portals of the college, do you still continue to do the Gayatri Mantra?
Yes, I continue to do Gayatri Mantra. I had, unfortunately, I had a very severe accident. I would say for no mistake of mine. So after that, it was Swami had indirectly he had sent a message that Gayatri mantra should be. He said Gayatri is Rakshana Kavacham. He said it gives
Rakshana Kavacham. Swami
it gives that layer of protection.
Swami sent that message.
Yes, send that message. And from then on, I continued to do Gayatri, and you wouldn't believe from that day to this day, I did not even, whenever I chant Gayatri and start my vehicle or go out, set out, I wouldn't even experience a single mishap or even not even a brush.
Wow.
It would literally like a
Protective
cover all around me.
Wow.
And there were instances where I had a very close call with very high speed vehicle from near Hosur, nearly 90 Volvo truck. It's up to 90 kilometers. It literally it had hit the vehicle in front of my Indica. It got pulped,
Oh.
and then it was oncoming to me.
Okay.
I just froze and I kept repeating Gayatri Om Bhurva Svah. The vehicle comes up to me, just hits the bonnet and stops.
Oh. Wow.
Not a scratch on my car and on my body.
Wow, fantastic. Wow, I think it is, I mean, for free, Bhagwan has given such a fantastic mantra, and it is given to us by Vishwamitra, who is, the very name says that who is a friend for the entire world. So, if we can befriend this mantra, then we can see how it can act like a protective cover at every instance of our life. And now the spiritual conference in Prashanthi Nilayam is all about helping us connect to this mantra. So let's use this opportunity to experience the power of the Gayatri Mantra during this birthday. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Saram. Saram.
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्